Hey everybody, Ted Forbes here, Art of Photography. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to do something that I'm going to call Vlog Week. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I've got in mind here. This is going to be a little bit separate from the main podcast. Haven't decided whether I'm going to put it in the main podcast feed or not. I've got cats walking around. You can see that it's going to be fairly informal and casual. But the whole idea is that I want to start pushing content out more often. And I also want to try to do some things to give the podcast a little lift and be fresh a little bit. So what we're going to do is just some very informal video blogging here. For the next 7 days, we're going to be putting content up like you wouldn't believe. And this was kind of a cool week to do it. I was going over my to-do list here. And, you know, this week we're working on several things for the show. Including starting to set some stuff up for the advisory committee that we put together, and of course that's all going to be transparent, and I want you guys to all be in on that as well, even though I have a committee formed to help make decisions. But we've got some stuff there. We're actually going to do a Dallas meetup, so I need to start looking at locations and start planning on that. I've been procrastinating that for a while. Another thing that's kind of cool, and I was going to do a more formal podcast on this, but it might be kind of cool to just kind of informally talk about it. But one thing I want to do that I'm setting up is building a mobile darkroom. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. The mobile darkroom, basically last February I moved into this new studio, and my bathroom is where I used to have a really large bathroom in my last place that had, you know, a built-in washer dryer closet that made it nice to be able to store the enlarger. I don't have that here, and I'm really not into just, you know, having the bathroom taken over by darkroom, because when you have guests over, they might want to use it. And anyway, I think this is kind of an interesting topic for people who have been interested in building a darkroom, how minimal you can go, still get work done. I actually have a project in mind that I'm going to be working on for this, and I thought it might be kind of cool to, you know, share some of that in the old vlog here. So this is Vlog Week. So yeah, so we're going to be working on a mobile darkroom. We're going to be doing some, you know, I could share some behind the scenes stuff, you know, all that. And so basically the whole deal is this is going to be a lot less formal than the main podcast. Hopefully just as informative and hopefully even more entertaining. But we're going to actually vary up location, things like that. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this yet. I'm just kind of vamping here while the camera's rolling. But the whole idea is to just kind of do a burst of stuff to try to get more content out and going, and try to do things in some kind of new and different ways. I actually need to order some chemicals this week. When I moved the studio, I pretty much threw out all the chemicals that I had. And basically chemicals are not expensive for darkroom application. And so I just thought it was easier to start over fresh, and I threw out some plastic bottles that were getting nasty, and I just emptied the glass ones and cleaned them out. So we're gonna hit the reset button there. So that might be kind of interesting. I'll show you what I'm gonna select, what we're gonna do, you know, what it's for, how we're gonna develop. It's going to be fun stuff. I've had people ask me about behind the scenes kinds of stuff that I do as far as my own photography workflow goes, stuff like that. So that might be kind of a cool option to look at is, you know, when we make photos, what do we do with them? Where do they get stored? We might show more to the studio, which might be kind of interesting. Anyway, so it's kind of like anything goes. You know, I really hate the word vlog, but that's what it's going to be. Is we're gonna do a video blog and try it for 7 days. And if I don't go mad from shooting video all the time and the time that that takes, then hopefully we'll come out the other side with some new ideas for shows and better stuff. And maybe I'll turn my phone ringer off next time before we get going. So really, there are plenty of vlogs out there that just have useless stuff on them, like, you know, telling everybody that Saturday and what I had for breakfast. But for one, I didn't have anything for breakfast this morning, so I really have nothing to report there. And two, I would like to make it slightly more interesting than that. It's kind of like photography behind the scenes. It also kind of forces me to keep this place clean, or cleaner than it normally is if I'm actually going to be throwing it up on YouTube and showing everybody what I live like. Okay, so that's going to be it. This is Vlog Week. So 7 days of this. We're going to do complete behind the scenes on the show. We're going to try some new stuff. We're going to experiment. You get to kind of see what goes into making the podcast even, because we're going to be working on that a lot because I've got a bunch of to-do items on there. And, you know, we're going to get around taking some photos too. I've got a new project that I'm working on that I might share with you some. It's something I've kind of been planning a while. It was inspired by some things that I saw a couple weeks ago at a gallery, and really want to kind of take my own take on and run with. So anyway, this is day one. You know, hopefully this is interesting, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 2.